Hello, my name is Parker Fialkowski, and today I'll be talking to you about the misappropriation of American Indian culture and American popular music today. So, in American culture, the cultures of other groups are oftentimes misappropriated, where one culture participates in the unauthorized taking of aspects of another culture. There are countless instances of American Indian culture being misappropriated in the American culture, such as inappropriate portrayals of American Indians in Western films produced by Hollywood, the use of American Indian culture and traditions as Halloween costumes by non American Indians, and through the tradition of young children playing Indian. The culture misappropriation of American Indians is not limited to films or games and costumes, but also is seen in the music industry. American popular music artists, the misuse of culture can be exemplified by the misappropriation of American Indian culture in the popular music of America, where American popular music artists take certain aspects of American Indian culture and inject these aspects into their own music, sometimes even including the act of singing redface in their songs. The American Indian culture has been misappropriated by American popular music through the adoption of American Indian culture by musical artists outside of the American Indian community. Culture misappropriation can be defined as the use of something that was created in one culture context by someone who is not a part of the culture. Examples of culture misappropriation are widespread in American culture, ranging from inappropriate portrayals of different cultures in American entertainment to the use of the traditional clothing of the cultures as costumes. In plays for Halloween, in Hollywood films, American Indians were oftentimes played by white actors who would use red face as a way to give the perception that they were Indian, an act referred to as playing Indian. These actors would inappropriately portray the American Indian, leading to a general disliking of American Indians by Americans due to the inappropriate ways in which they were portrayed by the actors. As stated by Dustin Tamakura in 2007 in the journal article titled Representations of Red Face, American sitcoms have set forth a restricted logic on how Indians in comedic television should appear in term. This limited logic of sitcoms, Indian, transmits a narrow, non-fully human view of real indigenous to non-indigenous and indigenous audiences. Tamakura makes the assertion that by playing Indian and portraying American Indians as inhuman and dangerous, these American actors have created a sort of a racial antipathy towards American Indians by making Americans fear and dislike them. Racial antipathy Racial antipathy refers to the dislike of culture or racial group by another group. In this context, meaning that the American Indian group was disliked due to the inappropriate portrayal of the American Indians by the actors that were playing Indian. The term cultural confusion can be used to describe the determinal effect that the misappropriation of American Indian culture has on members of the American Indian group. Cultural confusion is when members of a group are confused by their cultural heritage. It is not part due to the misrepresentation of the group that the members have grown up with. As stated by Christian Guanacana in an article titled Singing Redface, The Misappropriation of American Indian Culture in Popular Music. Due to the misappropriation of American Indian culture in the media, the misunderstanding and cultural confusion seem unavoidable when the appropriation of native culture has been heavily influenced by cultural hegemony imparted by by the entertainment industry, governmental affairs, and the constitutional use misinformation. By having a misrepresentation all around them while they are growing up, the American Indian community often experiences cultural confusion about their cultural identity. By being shown as dangerous on television, by being misappropriated in American popular music, the American Indian community can have a hard time understanding their cultural as it has been misrepresented in so many different ways in the media. The misappropriation of American Indian culture is not the first instance of the American people misappropriating another culture for entertainment, as the roots of cultural misappropriation run deep in America's history. The blackface mysteriously is an example of a cultural misappropriation, as it was earlier an American form of entertainment, where performers would mock the culture of those of African descent through singing, dancing, and performing skits that were communal in nature. This can be argued as the first instance of cultural misappropriation in America, as the culture of a minority group was mocked for entertainment purposes. This can be seen in American popular music, as musicians used redface to mock or misappropriate the American Indian culture for entertainment purposes. Similar to the blackface, the term redface refers to the actions taken by non-American Indians in an attempt to perceived as an American Indian, and is oftentimes used by members of the American popular music community in their music through the act of singing redface, as stated in the Book of the Indigenous Music of Turtle Island, Native American Music. Just as minstrel blackface performances develop racial archetypes by displaying blackness, singing redface occurs when a non-Native American person takes on the racial archetypes of a Native American character through song. Singing redface artists have promoted racial slurs, mock Indian languages, and in Native American music. Singing redface is an extremely offensive act for American popular music artists to participate in, because not only does it mock the Indian language and use the cultural without consent, it allows for people to dress up for traditional Indian clothing, which is sacred to the American Indian culture. Many songs are sung as Thanksgiving songs portray culture misappropriation, as they use American Indian culture as a way to entertain. A song that exemplifies the act of singing redface is the song Little Pilgrim, which is sung to the melody of the song Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. This Thanksgiving song is an example of singing redface and cultural misappropriation, because through the singing of the song, mainstream American culture has created opportunities for children to dress up as Indians, to sing songs about being Indian, and to learn Indian dances. Both the blackface, mysteriously, and Thanksgiving songs that allow for singing redface show how American Indian culture has been misappropriated by American popular music. Because both of these have been used as a form of entertainment and mockery by Americans, the term idolized sympathy refers to how American Indians were oftentimes sympathized in a song, where non-American Indians would use redface to attempt to sympathize with the struggles of American Indian. The song Indian Reservation by John D. Loudermilk, which was supposed to express Cherokee pride, but the first rendition of the song, The Pale-Faced Indian by Marvin Rainwater, expressed a different message, where the sympathy did more harm than good for the American Indian community, by the idealized sympathy depicted the Cherokee people as a nation that had lost its identity through forced assimilation into the image of the modern-day white-faced Indian. This idealized sympathy did more harm than good because rather than emphasizing on the bravery and the strength of the American Indians during the times of the hardships, the song instead emphasized on the fact that the Cherokee people lost their cultural identity. Through the idealized sympathy of the song and the emphasis on the wrong characteristics of the Cherokee people, American popular music is shown to have misappropriated the American Indian culture. Throughout the history of America, the American Indian culture has been the victims of constant cultural misrepresentation and misappropriation. Examples of the misappropriation of the American Indian culture are countless, as the American Indian culture has long been a source of entertainment for the Americans, ranging from inappropriate representations of American Indians through non-natives playing Indian to American musicians singing redface in the American popular music. There has been many exemplifications of American Indian culture being misappropriated. In American popular music, there has been a long history of musicians singing redface in a way that harms the American Indian community, as the use of singing redface it misappropriates the culture of American Indians and leaves the community harmed by members outside of the American Indian group taking and using aspects of American Indian culture. These outsiders harm the American Indian culture by damaging the perception of the culture held by both in a group of members and out group of members. The effect that the misappropriation of the American Indian culture has on American Indians is vast and includes cultural confusion by members of the group that were raised around the misrepresentations of their culture in the American media. The misappropriation of American Indian culture in American popular music holds a devastating impacts on the cultures as a whole and needs to be ended. Thank you for your time, and I hope I informed you more about the scenarios and situations with American Indian culture. Thank you.